All right, I'm going to begin the city council meeting for February 13th, 2024. Can I have a roll call, please? Oh, I'm sorry, invocation first. Invocation with a flag salute by me, Bishop Terrence Hundley of the Place City of Miracles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Shall we pray? Eternal God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day that you have blessed and allowed us to arise and shine this morning. And now we have come to the city of Temecula City Council meeting once again. Heavenly Father, we pray for the city of Temecula officials as you've given them the responsibility to watch and guide over this great city that they serve. Lord, just as you told the prophet Ezekiel that you have made him a watchman for the people of Israel, we pray for the city officials that they will be godly servants and stewards over your creation. We pray that just as you renewed Ezekiel's call as a watchman, we pray that you will renew the call for every city officials. We ask this as your sons and daughters, confident in your goodness and love. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. All right, please join me in saluting the flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, now let's have a roll call.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Alexander?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Kalfas?
Here.
Councilmember Schwank?
Here.
Mayor Stewart?
Here. All right, so we have a couple presentations today. I'd like to welcome the family of Ed Morrell. Would you please come up? And then I will ask the city clerk to give us a description of this brand-new award that we have for citizens. So.
Yes. First, to the family of Mr. Morrell, welcome. You guys are all welcome to come on up to the podium. This is the very first Community Leader Award of Distinction that the city is presenting, and we are so honored to present it posthumously to the family of Mr. Ed Morrell. This particular award, the Community Leader Award of Distinction, can be provided to a resident and/or nonprofit or business affiliate upon recommendation of the Public Recognition Subcommittee. The award is rare and therefore shall be presented on behalf of the city of Temecula in person at a city council meeting. The related award is signed by all council members, and to have been eligible for this award, there are several criteria that the individual must have met, including a significant impact on the community. And I will turn it over to City Manager Aaron Adams, who will give us an overview of Mr. Morrell's community impact.
Thank you, Randy. Laney, girls, it's good to see you. I know it is bittersweet to be here. I know there's also a lot of dear friends of Ed that are in the audience. And could you please stand so you can see who's all here for Mr. Morrell? If you didn't know he was loved, and he is missed. And I consider it a great honor to have called him my friend for over 30 years. And I thought it would be appropriate. I think I read this at the council meeting early part of last year, but for the benefit of everyone in attendance, this was the nomination that accompanied this distinction, this award this evening, and I'll just read it to y'all. Ed Morrell was the founder and owner of Viper Volleyball. He started Viper Volleyball for his daughter Kylie back in 1996. His greatest joys were his family, including his wife Lanny, who owns Temecula Dance Company, and two daughters, Katie and Kylie. While residing in the city of Temecula and operating several Temecula-based businesses, Ed proudly served on the board of directors of several charities, including the Make a Difference Foundation, which had given many Viper players, coaches, families, and friends the opportunity to serve those less fortunate. Ed Morrell should be recognized for his community participation and leadership in Temecula because of the significant impact he had on the local community and the positive change he brought about. His philanthropic endeavors, dedication, and love for people inspired many. Mr. Morrell quietly assisted orphanages in Tijuana, Mexico. He also had a heart for the unsheltered and homeless. Through generous contributions of his time and his talent, Mr. Morrell was routinely engaged with nonprofits like Project Touch and the Community Mission of Hope, helping others where and how he could. Ed believed in the spirit of connection through people. Those people were and are Temecula residents and Temecula businesses. Furthermore, as a successful entrepreneur, Ed owned and operated multiple thriving businesses in Temecula, contributing to the growth and the success of the local economy. His commitment to excellence, perseverance, and business acumen not only led to the prosperity of his own company, but also earned him the respect and admiration of his colleagues and his peers. Ed's leadership by example and his ability to lead with warmth, kindness, and genuine love for others made a lasting impact on the hearts of those he touched. He was dedicated to giving back to the community, and his lifelong dedication to philanthropy and community service is deserving of this recognition. Ed Morrell's involvement in the community of Temecula has left a positive imprint on the lives of many, making him an exceptional leader worthy of recognition and appreciation. Ed Morrell passed away in 2022. May he rest in peace. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. I knew Ed for quite a long time also, and he was a hilarious guy. I loved hanging out with him when I got to. I didn't get to spend as much time as I would have liked to, but every moment I spent with him was a blast. So I appreciate your husband dearly. So, any other comments?
I just want to go along with everything that my colleagues are saying. It's such a blessing to know him. I had a short window to really kind of talk with him and get to know what he's done in the community. And it just surpasses anything. It's unbelievable. And it's just such a blessing to have all of you still in the community and to continue to grow and bring his legacy on. So thank you for all you guys are doing. And it really is an honor to present this to your family. It's so small, but at least it's something. So I just want to thank you guys for all you're doing, and bless you all.
Thank you so much. We are so honored that he is receiving this award, and he loved Temecula so much. And he loved serving the community. And thank you for honoring him, because he really did try every day to make a difference. His quote from Pastor Scott Treadwell was that God just wants us to love him and love each other, and he strived every day to love other people, and that was his goal. And so thank you so much for the recognition. We so appreciate it. And from my heart, we are so thankful for the wonderful people that are here today to support Ed and to be with our family during this time. There's just amazing people back here that we are just genuinely thankful for. So thank you so much.
Would it be okay if we could get a photo of your family there with the award and the city council?
Sure,
and then
that would be great.
Maybe after that, we could ask everyone that's here for Ed to come on up and we could get a group photo too. Would that be all
Oh,
right?
I would love that so much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for thinking of that.
I think a long time ago at Sunrise.
Oh, yes. So here's the actual award itself that you'll be able to place in a place of honor.
Yes, I
in
love
your
it
home.
so much. Thank you.
And then there's also a Yeah, they
What you
hold on
just
to that.
read. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. My son-in-laws are hiding.
Okay, ready, Noah? We're gonna take one picture, okay? Everyone big smiles.
Yes.
Please.
Anybody who's here for Ed, come on up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Not Dad. Oh, look at all those pickleball people. Okay, ready? Everybody look forward. Zach's got it, everyone. Thank you very much.
You guys for coming.
Right, we'll let them clear out. And our next presentation is for Jillian Anderson regarding Reality Rally. Jillian?
Larson.
Larson, what did I say, Anderson? Jillian Larson.
Mr. Mayor, I do see Mrs. Larson back there, and she's making her way up, and we'll go ahead and close the doors back there. Excellent, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, commissioners, city staff, and everybody in Temecula. We are here tonight from Reality Rally to say adieu and farewell. We are not going to be continuing with our event going forward for many, many reasons. But mainly, I'm here with our board and several of our event directors to say a very big thank you for all the support that you have been. Thank you to the police department. You guys were amazing. You supported us. You were there. You were visible. It was amazing. Thank you to the IT department. You provided amazing technology with Jonathan and Chris as part of what we did. We were doing it for 10 years, but it was actually 12 years. Thank you to the city clerk department for always supporting what we did. To our city managers, Mr. Hawkins and Mr. Adams, thank you so much. You supported us. City council, obviously I've said that to you, which is absolutely where it came from. I met Chuck Washington 15 years ago and floated this idea by him. He was mayor at the time and he said, go for it, and we did. And also many of the commissioners have been a big part of what we've done as well. And also the community services department have been a big part of it. So we want to show you a little bit of what happened over 12 years. And so Chris and Jonathan hit it. So as you saw it going flying past, thank you all very much. But it was a we event. We did this, as you saw. And just in case you didn't catch it, the event was, the main goal was to raise money for Michelle's Place. And that clearly was identified on the quick slideshow. We did raise money for Michelle's Place. We together raised over $1 million. And it was a we because there were amazing people. And I'm going to read what was up there, just one of the slides. I won't read them all. But we had over 600 people that joined us after you, Chuck Washington, said go for it. The city of Temecula was with us all the time. We had over 300 sponsors regularly. We had 354 reality TV stars from 73 different TV shows come to the event. We had 5 dogs. We had Chopper the biker dog and 5 surf dogs. We had 4 professional musicians and actors. We had 2 NFL alumni players, whatever they call those. We had 50 nonprofits join us to get some visibility and to have fun with us, helping raise money for Michelle's Place, but getting visibility for their organizations as well. And one of the serendipitous, amazing things that happened was the Valley Intercity Challenge. We had all 9 cities send in teams to be part of it and to vie for the Floating Gnome Trophy. And Lake Elsinore did win it for 8 years, and Menifee took it at the last minute with 4 minutes to spare the last game. So I just want you to see, and I'm talking to Temecula as well, thank you everybody for being part of what we did, because without all of you, you're a wonderful, wonderful community. You run an amazing city, all of you. You produce what we need to be the city of Temecula that we love. And I would continue with this, but I'm just getting a little older, so it's time to do something different. So it is a sad adieu. But I would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you again to every one of you. And each one of our board members who are present, every one of them couldn't make it tonight, and our event directors will introduce themselves and say thank you as well. So thank you very much from me.
Thank you, Jillian. Me? I gotta go first? Go ahead. Well, happy Mardi Gras. Laissez le bon temps rouler. I'm Johnny Fox, and I am director of the Lip Sync Showdown, of which I see some members have actually performed in said event. So we had a blast doing it, and just wanted to thank you all for that. Thank you, Jillian, for letting me be a part of that and bringing me on to direct that. We had just so many fun singers and performers, and it was just great to get all the support, and it was great to get plenty other that are not here that I see, but some other council members and people that performed in the Lip Sync Showdown, and they were great. So thank you all for your support.
Hi, I'm Joni Hoover, and I was the director of teams, and I want to say thank you to everyone that came out to play and helped raise funds, and thank you for hosting us all these years. It was tremendous, and I'm really going to miss it, and I'm so grateful that I moved here in 1995. I love Temecula and Michelle's Place.
I'm Ron Larson. I'm one of the members of the board of directors. Thank you all. That's enough for me.
And I'm Terry Lindsley. I'm a board member, and I do want to thank you all for all your support over the years, because we know that if we didn't have you all, we wouldn't have been able to do what we did. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Lori Miller, and we just want to say we totally appreciate you all and everything you did for us. Thank you so very much.
So once again, thank you. And are there any questions?
Well, I just want to say thank you, because you put the fun in fundraiser. There's no doubt about it. And it's hard to say no to Jillian. So, right? That's why you're able to get so many volunteers, not only to do it once or twice, but for 12 years. That's pretty impressive. So we as the city, we totally loved the event, and we totally loved you for putting on the event. So,
Well, thank you. And again, it was because of Michelle's Place.
Yeah.
That's what was the draw. We all had the passion for doing something that was so right.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You said we several times, and as a community, we all participated. But you're being very modest, you and your team. This is you. You are an amazing person. You have a giving heart, and everything you did was just was top notch. And so don't be so modest. Take some credit for all the things you've done for our community. You are an amazing person, and we appreciate everything you've done. I participated as a commissioner for many years, and every year that we did it as a council member, still upset that Elsinore, just for whatever reason, they just kept winning, and it's like, oh, just shut up already, enough. Like, get it. The lip sync challenge was probably one of the highlights of my life. I had to channel my inner queen, It was such a fun evening and for such a great cause. So, I can't wait to see what's next, because I know that there's something tickling the back of your brain and maybe we should do, yeah, you should, whatever that is, let's go. Thanks, Jillian, and thanks to the board and everyone involved. You just make our community what it is, a really great place to live. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Swank. I appreciate it, and thank everybody again. Thank you is never enough, but thank you. And thank you.
I think Jillian, wait.
Can I, before you ride off into the
I'm
sunset?
sorry.
I know.
We weren't done. Sorry.
As was shared, I had the privilege, I think, of participating in year one, a few other years, off years or whatever. I'm still, I think we won with an asterisk or something like that. But as Zach mentioned, you were the machine behind this. And it's one thing to put together an event of that scale with all volunteers, and then to do it year after year, and the volunteers kept coming back. And to do it for 12 years is truly remarkable. And I applaud you, Jillian Larson. You did an amazing, amazing thing. You put Temecula on the map on more ways than one, in bringing reality stars from all over the globe and having fun running through Old Town, running through the mall, and doing our scavenger hunt and our amazing race. So we thank you, and I hope you and Ron can enjoy some quiet time and travel and whatever's in store for the next chapter. But to you, your board, your army of volunteers, just know it didn't go unnoticed, that we appreciated it, and you did a fantastic job.
Thank you
Well
very
done.
much. Actually, I am going to have one more second. I forgot to mention that we did bring in money from 16 countries and every one of the 50 states regularly. And that to me was amazing, that all of those people donated from all over the world, 16 countries, pretty impressive, and every one of the states for Michelle's Place through Reality Rally in Temecula. So thank you again.
So we're all going to come down and take a picture with you. So.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's get some smaller people. They're all coming down. City council, everybody's coming down, I guess.
Thank you, Temecula.
Mr. Jillian Larson is what
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, get the band back together.
He's videotaping. Oh.
Okay, so now we're on to boards and commission reports. So start with the Planning Commission, Mr. Bob Hagel.
Okay, we met last week, as well as we participated in a joint workshop with City Council last week, which was very well received by all the commissioners, and we felt really, really great about participating, and hopefully everything that we've been doing last several months will make a big difference in Old Town. So if you could go to the next slide, we had 3 things on the agenda. One was to select a chair and vice chair. Council member, Commissioner Shirley Trejo and I switched places, and she'll be backing me up. So if I'm not here, which I plan on being here every meeting, so next slide. We have 28 subcommittees, and it was the balance of who was on them was off because of timing of appointing the last commissioner. So Commissioner Watts let go 3 of his assignments, which were given to Commissioner Salas, and that were the only changes that were made. Next slide. So we had a presentation regarding the Old Town Local Advisory Committee, which is about to start, and we are extremely supportive of all the changes that are being made. We think it'll make a huge difference in Old Town. We really like the representation from all the different aspects of the businesses as well as residents, and particularly having our historic folks involved in making recommendations for Old Town. There was a number of questions that did come up, which I think will add to staff flushing through the details, which I think we'll know more about, shortly. So, and that was our whole meeting. So.
All right, thank you. So off to Traffic Safety Commission and Skip Carter.
Last time, all last year, including myself. There's 5 of us, and we meet the 4th Thursday of every month. We review and make recommendations on topics related to speed zones, stop signs, signals, pavement markings, traffic design, and engineering. Our last meeting was January 25th. At that meeting, we approved meeting minutes, 3-0, and 2 abstained because they weren't at the meeting for the December commission meeting. Next slide. We also had a discussion and a presentation on the Nicholas Road in Cali Garrisol temporary road closure, which is also on your consent calendar to move to you for approval, and we voted 5-0. Next slide. And we also had a presentation on Wolf Valley on traffic calming because of the speed. And the interesting thing on the speed there, you would think that it would go just downhill, but it's downhill and uphill. So they're going to put VCOM sign or radar and VCOM signs to hopefully slow it down. And we suggested also possibly putting, just to draw attention to the downhill speed, put an advisory sign and watch downhill speed or something like that, just to get people back in tune to getting with the speed. And the next slide, please. We also elected a new chair and vice chair. The new chair is Commissioner Maddox, and the vice chair is Commissioner Sullivan. Commissioner Maddox will be here starting next meeting. And next slide. And we have questions. No, we don't. Thank you very much.
Do you have any questions? All right, thank you. All right, so now we go to Public Safety Report with Captain Durham.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, the city team, and residents of Temecula. Year-to-date stats your deputies handled for January 2024, 5,512 calls. It's a slight decrease from last year. At the same time frame, I'd attribute to the weather. We had some pretty horrendous storms rolling that you're all aware of, which keeps people inside, even the bad ones. But ultimately, I just wanted to take a quick second just to remind the parents at home about e-bikes. If you can please talk to your children, set some expectations for their conduct on these bikes. We want them safe. I want them following the traffic laws. I don't want anyone to get injured. And I would remind them that our parks are nice and pretty, and we want to keep them that way. And with all this rain, the sod is wet, and we really don't need 14, 15-year-old kids on e-bikes running through the grass and intentionally destroying the lawn. It's an easy way to make friends and get a vandalism charge, so we want to avoid that the best that we can, and that's why I'm asking parents to talk to their children, set some expectations, please, keep them safe, keep our parks clean and beautiful. Thank you. Are there any questions, please?
Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so public comments.
Mr. Mayor, we do have several public comments on non-agendized items, and then we also have one public comment on the consent calendar, which I will go ahead and call after the non-agendized items. So the first speaker is Mark Swearingen, to be followed by Arch Atchison. And again, as a reminder, the speakers have 3 minutes each. So Mark Swearingen.
City staff, mayor,
Talk into the mic right there.
council
There you go.
members. Sorry, this is my first meeting of the city council in 30-year residency here. So my issue that I'm bringing up is really about allocation of field space for the soccer players in the region or in the city, specifically Birdsall. In our wonderful presentation of the city, we come out and we show an oversight of Birdsall. We even have on the city page saying how great we have of the soccer park and facilities, and we do. But I do have problems with the allocation, meaning that the youth of the city and people who live in the district that I live in don't have as much access to that park, Birdsall, as they should. We give allocations to many organizations. For this month, there's 17 organizations who allocate space from the park. If these were the entities, which there are 17, if these 3 represented the entities, it wouldn't matter how many people, how many city residents these entities served. No matter how big, no matter how small, the smallest one could rent as much space as they wanted to, however they could pay for it. So it doesn't make sense to me that we rent to the small entity that's going to use the space without not nearly as much as an entity that's larger and that's serving actual city residents. The other issue that I bring up on this is and I'm not vilifying Ms. Russo or their staff. They were fantastic. They met with me yesterday and gave me all the information I needed. And it's not that, but I want to ask the city council, who among you, because I don't have a District 1 representative, is willing to look at this issue with me or some of these organizations so that we can allocate space adequately. Currently, one of the biggest ones is Temecula Adult Soccer League. And we allocate this month, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, from 6 to 10, all of that space to Temecula Adult Soccer League, which doesn't have very many residents that I know of who are actually city residents. If you look at the papers that Ms. Russo gave me, it looks like this is all city residents, 95%, but it only takes one resident to get the space.
Your time's up.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, though.
Thank you, Mr. Swearingen. The next speaker is Arch Atchison, to be followed by Bernard Budney.
Good evening.
Hello, I'm Arch Atchison, and I live on Nibblick Road here in Temecula. Been a resident of this town for almost 18 years. When my wife and I moved here from North Carolina to Temecula, we were our first day in our home with the moving truck at the front door and on boxes being unloaded. This little white curly-haired lady who was our next-door neighbor showed up about 5 o'clock in the afternoon with a tray with 2 roasted chickens, homemade brownies, and a whole meal prepared, a salad and everything. And she said, "We know what it's like to move, and we want to welcome you into this town and welcome you to the neighborhood." And she said, "So it's all prepared. Whenever you and the moving team are ready, dinner is prepared." That was Jillian Larson, our neighbor. So she's very good. You saw her tonight. She gives credit to everyone but herself for Reality Rally. And so I wanted to write a few words just to honor her tonight and express how it takes only one caring, dedicated, and determined person to make a difference. In troubling times when the average Americans are facing life-changing choices, we seek leaders, not just from the political stages, but new, caring, nearby agents. We search beyond authoritarian edicts and legislative governmental voices for one who just understands the struggles of life's stressors and struggles rampant. It's the neighbor who took the time to prepare a meal on your move-in date, or the caring one who volunteered to sit with the suffering and lonely soul. The true leader inspires, listens, challenges, and exemplifies life beyond blind fate, lifting up spirits, inviting all to accept new adventures and to set far-reaching goals. It only takes one caring and dedicated and determined person to bring light that blasts out the darkness shadows as the sparkling gift of joy and lasting hope, and offers the tools and the guidance to make dreams come true and visions bright because of the hard work, the adapting, as that one leads us to do more than just cope. The one enriches the volunteers, no matter how small their task, and uplifts. She won't take credit for success, but diverts praise to those who accept her call. Our community is united and beyond the turmoil of life. All are blessed by her gifts, for she opens hearts to the joy of rallying and serving others and blessing us all. Dedicated to Jillian Larson.
Thank you,
a
sir.
good neighbor and a good leader.
Awesome, thank you.
The next speaker is Bernard Budney, to be followed by Tammy Marine.
Good evening. I've heard a lot of nice things tonight, and it takes a little wind out of what I'm about to say. But you know what? I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I thought what I've heard was really, really wonderful. I mentioned before I've been up here at different times over the years, and I said my background is that I had worked and retired from the U.S. Customs Service, Customs and Border Protection all across the country, when having to do with aircraft that were airdropping stuff, the Caribbean, the Bahamas, even Florida, by the way. They changed their mind and came up to Mexico. It was a lot easier for them. So that's why when I come across these YouTubes in the last 2 years, one was about a teacher, and he was interviewed by a pastor. Some of you probably know who they are. And the teacher, having become an administrator, saw what was going on in the schools, okay, drugs, alcohol, sex on campus, and even fights, which, you know, that goes on, had been gone for many years. That was one thing, that was 2 years ago. But just last month, there was another interview on the YouTube, okay, between the same pastor and, of all people, Sheriff Chad Bianco, okay? It's entitled, What's Going On in California, and I suggest that you watch it because it kind of confirms what the teacher had said 2 years ago. Now, on this book that I have up on the screen there, it talks about improvements that have gone on in communities such as Milwaukee and Richmond, Virginia, and the Boston Miracle, that what has happened there, why is it that we cannot have it in places like Oakland and Stockton and San Bernardino? And so I'm just going to read to you a couple of notes from that book. It's not going to be forever, I promise you. Faith-based organizations and the transformative power of faith itself are proven keys to reducing crime and improving the effectiveness of our criminal justice system. Faith-based approaches address some of the most difficult social problems facing our society. Faith-based groups should become allies in comprehensive strategies to improve law enforcement, the courts, and our correctional system. My understanding is that a child, a student, has to go through a court system. A court has to file a complaint before there's any real rehabilitation begun. Where's the prevention? I'm wondering where it is in that case. I asked
Your
that
time is
question.
up.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. The next speaker is Tammy Marine.
All right, thank you. Thank you. I was pretty much done.
Yeah.
After Tammy Marine is Laurel Lamont.
Mayor, council members, commissioners, and staff. I'm Tammy Marine from Habitat for Humanity, and I come, as some others have tonight, with a thank you. A few months ago, I came to a city council meeting to talk about our annual advocacy days that happen in Sacramento each year. Habitat for Humanity, as a reminder, is a nonprofit affordable housing developer, and we provide homeownership opportunities in the affordable housing bucket. There are very few affordable housing funding sources that are available to us other than our grassroots fundraising, and so we go to the state and federal government to ask for support. And so this year, what happened was that there was $153 million that was eliminated from the state budget per the governor, yet to be decided for sure. We'll know in June. But Habitat affiliates from across the 33 geographic areas that we served convened in Sacramento to advocate for the restoration of those eliminated funds. The affiliate advocacy days consists of 70 Habitat professionals from all different types of cities across the state, but we invited you to attend with us. In our Habitat California's history, we've never had a city that accompanied us to Sacramento, and so we were amazingly surprised when you accepted our invitation, and we were accompanied with Councilmember Schwenk, with Commissioner Jackie Steed, and also our Director of Legislative Affairs and City Clerk, Randy Joel. So we were super excited. I went as well, in addition to our Director of Housing Programs, Lynn Leaner, and also our Director of Family Support, which is Carrie Harvath. So it was an exciting opportunity in front of our other Habitat affiliates to see us for the first time be represented by a city that's basically was saying that housing matters, homeownership matters. So I thank you for that. We were asked to sit in on a case study, a panel interview, and your points were so beautifully and articulately conveyed and really made an impression. And in fact, Randy crafted a letter from the city that would serve as a template for other cities, and as likely by March 1st, we anticipate we'll have 50 cities sign on in support of restoring the CalFund homes. So it's a testament to your commitment to the city and what you're doing on housing. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I look forward to us working on the advocacy front again and more actively in the future. And I just wanted to say special thank you. Also special thank you to Aaron Adams, our city manager, because I know you supported it, and Luke Watson as well, who's worked with us for many years behind the scenes.
I'm sorry, your time is up, Ms. Marine.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Laurel Lamont, to be followed by Melissa Bourbonnais.
Hi, I'm Laurel Lamont, and I represent Upward Community and the local workforce in Temecula. So I live across the street at Warehouse, Warehouse at Creekside. And within the last 6 months, a number of residents have been kicked out due to being considered making too much. So we don't want more affordable housing, but at the same time, we're not creating housing for the workforce. And we're kicking people out of affordable housing for making too much money. Bree spoke here once asking for rent control. She was a single mom with a child with a disability. Bolivia was my neighbor. She's a widow and an in-home healthcare worker. Both women kicked out of that apartment for making too much money. Where did they go? Corey Robinson spoke here. He didn't qualify. He makes too much. He's a grocer. I'm likely to be down at City Hall fighting to keep that roof over my head. I'm a grocer. Where are we going in all of this effort to do something more? Habitat just spoke. My best friend, George A. Harris, also was a grocer and took care of children as a second job. Told she makes too much, doesn't qualify for a Habitat home. Where do we go? When do we matter? When is this going to be a discussion? The workforce. When are we going to talk about housing the workforce within this community? Pats on the back are great, but solutions to real problems right now, and not just housing people below an income bracket, how about housing everybody who is working within a community? What are we doing about that? Where is that discussion being had? Is a town hall going to happen so we can talk about it? Because it's not being talked about here. We want to praise city for segregating housing. Habitat only exists on the other side of the freeway. Are we talking about bringing Habitat into the rest of the community? When is this discussion going to happen? 8 years. 8 years I've been speaking here. What's going to happen when this building tries to kick me out? May I add, all those people that were kicked out were Black people. Does that matter? Is that relevant?
The next speaker is Melissa Bourbonnais, to be followed by our last speaker, Pam Nelson.
Hi, I'm Melissa Bourbonnais, and I represent Upward Community. To continue the discussion that Laurel just initiated, our question to you today, tomorrow, yesterday, last week, last month, last year, what are you doing, council members? What action steps, not words. You guys are great with words. Politicians across the board are great with words. What action steps have you taken to house the workforce that have not, key part, that have not been mandated by the state? We are in a housing crisis. We say it all the time. Upward Community is saying it on social media, during council meetings. We're networking, we're going to the workforce, we're getting word out. For anybody that might not know, we're in a severe housing crisis. And it seems like you know, because it looks like you're listening. But then I don't see, and I can't point to, and I don't think you can point to an action step that you have taken that has not been mandated by the state that benefits in any way the workforce when it comes to housing. The people that Laurel just cited, do you consider them? Do you think about them? What steps are you taking that the state hasn't mandated for you to take for workforce housing? It's not a rhetorical question. We want you, we need for you to answer it. You have an obligation to answer it as elected officials, to answer that question for your constituents, particularly the workforce. SB 9, you guys waited until the last second to pass SB 9 that came down from the state. And by the way, these are coming down from the state because the cities have been irresponsible with their power, because the cities have made decisions that have contributed to this housing crisis, to this severe housing crisis that you seem to be aware of but are taking no action to help solve. That's why the city is sending down all of these bills, and then you pass them through because you have no choice. And then you pass through regulation that effectively, like with SB 9, effectively nullifies the power, the opportunity that was meant to come with, let's have a meeting, that's meant to come with SB 9 and other pieces of legislation that has come from the state. We need for you to answer that question. What action steps have you taken? Because you will talk about the workforce and act like you are here for the workforce, but if you don't back that up with actions, then it's just empty, meaningless words.
The last speaker is Pam Nelson.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening. I noticed on the consent calendar, number 4, the item number 4 is about the Altair development, so I thought I'd just take the opportunity to give the council an update, at least from my point of view, what's been happening from the Altair settlement. I didn't know that a settlement took so much work either, but thankfully the Brookfield lead, Colin Koch, has been really helpful. I've tried to move the process along by setting up work teams. So we currently have a work team for security of the Altair site and the land transfer right now. That's what we're working on. We finally are getting fencing and signage in place. By early March, it will be installed on the west side of Marietta Creek. And we could use the city's help for the east side near the Jack in the Box with more signage, because we're getting some, quite a bit of access there on that site. The land transfer team has been working slowly, but we're getting somewhere, we hope, and we continue to meet. The last big challenge will be the deposit of the dirt from the western bypass. So that's my update for everybody, and so thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that was the last public comment.
All right, so we'll move on to council comments. So let's start with Mr. Zach over here.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Go ahead and throw up the first slide. It's for our trip to Sacramento to lobby on behalf of Temecula residents alongside Habitat for Humanity. And Tammy spoke a little bit about it, but I kind of want to give my perception of it. So Habitat for Humanity held its 12th annual advocacy days in Sacramento. There were a significant number of meetings with legislators, and I personally attended 6 meetings, including a meeting with the governor's office. On that trip, we were joined by, obviously, Tammy Marine, Lynn Lehner, our Director of Legislative Affairs, Randy Joel, myself, and Commissioner Jackie Steed, who brought a different perspective. We had an opportunity to present to all the Habitat affiliates. That presentation was very well received, and it was, like was mentioned, it was the first time that a city had participated in something like this. So we went up there, and really a lot of the other affiliates were looking around going, wait, we can do this? We should do this? Yes, you should do this. You should partner with your cities. A couple of the things that I took away from it: home ownership is the lowest it's been since the 1940s in the United States. That Cal Home funding was $152.5 million. That was completely eliminated from the governor's budget, which was why it was so important to me with his office and everyone up there advocating for that clawback. One thing that we heard from the housing chair is Chris Ward, who's a San Diego Assembly member, was the legislature needs to stay focused on housing production and supply issues, an important part of the housing continuum, and not just focusing on homelessness or rental assistance. Some things that I don't think are well understood are CEQA is a big one. A lot of folks don't understand how CEQA works, and we need to advocate to streamline CEQA. it's inhibiting production, and we need to make it a priority to make sure that folks can build homes in our state. The tax credit market, there was talk about how hard it is in the tax credit market, and what can the legislature do to streamline that process a little bit as well. The one thing that I thought that resonated with me the most, and I don't recall the speaker, but it was essentially it was important to spend your tax dollars in proportion to the unmet need within your community. So if the unmet need is significantly greater for low or for moderate or low to moderate, it's like trying to find that proportionality and making sure that we're doing that. So that's something looking forward that we need to stay mindful of. But all in all, it was a wonderful turnaround. It was like one night and we were back the next day, so it was up and back. But I feel like it was very valuable, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of all the Habitat affiliates and spend some time with our local legislators and obviously the governor's office. So thank you for that. All right, next slide. We just did the, February 8th, we did at the Ready Commission, we did our Black History Month proclamation. So I just want to say thank you to the Ready Commission, thank you to everyone that attended, and the students. There were some students here from TVHS that participated in this. This is a little bit different than what we did last year. I still think we're trying to get this sort of dialed in a little bit, but it was a wonderful evening to be able to celebrate with the community the Black History Month proclamation. Appreciate Supervisor Washington for sending in a video, Mayor Stewart for his words. I spoke as well, and then just listening to some of the public comments that were made that evening. So look forward to more proclamations, but wanted to highlight that since our Ready Commission isn't here this evening. All right, next slide is a good one. This has probably been a 15 or so year journey that we've been on of trying to become a more bicycle-friendly community, and we were bronze, and this last year we received this silver designation from the League of American Bicyclists, and this is a big deal. Not many cities get this. It demonstrates the vision that the council had years ago, and the councils now and staff now have carried that torch to give our community an opportunity or a choice, if you will, to ride a bicycle or even walk in many instances. We made some huge strides, so certainly want to thank my colleagues for supporting this over the years, past council members for their initiative as well, and then staff for all the time and energy that they put into this, and in all departments really. We've gone out and we've got a ton of grants to make some of these projects happen, so we certainly appreciate that. Okay, last thing is I just want to tell you a little story. I was helping a friend in a neighborhood that I don't typically visit. This is somewhat of a public safety announcement. It's important that we all know our surroundings. If this can happen to me, it can certainly happen to anyone. You need to pay attention. You need to be vigilant. I think it's most important for us to be safe and prepared. If we can be safe and prepared in our community, because the Girl Scouts are literally everywhere. And if you're carrying cash, they will take it all. And that's what happened to me. So these wonderful kids were out. I was actually helping a friend with his roof. It was leaking and we were tarping it, and they were selling cookies, and I just couldn't help but support them and all the wonderful things that their troop does. So wanted to have a little fun with this, but encourage you all to maybe get 4 or 5 boxes and hide one in your desk or wherever you need to go. But it's cookie season, and encourage you all to go out and support these kiddos. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all.
All right, so we'll move on to Councilmember Jessica.
All right, well, I only have one item that I want to bring up tonight. I too had attended the February 8th Ready Commission, and I first off want to just thank my staff for giving me the opportunity to talk about the possibilities of what our city can do. And what I'm talking about is one of my visions that I can foresee is how can the community come around our youth and help them to start the discussion in creating financial responsibility and budgeting, so that way when these kids exit high school, they are eligible they have money in their accounts, number one. I mean, one of the things we hear is the fact that the housing is very expensive. And one of my goals is how can we prepare these kids so that way when they leave high school, when they leave college, they are prepared. And so one of the things I tasked the Ready Commission with is to see if they can, with the variety of people we have on the commission, use their backgrounds and use their just their ideas of how we can get this community to start moving these kids into a financially fiscal budgeting way of life, which may be a little bit different from some of us. I know I didn't grow up that way per se, and so I want to be able to give our youth and our children's children the ability to do that. And so I was really proud of our Ready Commission having the discussion. They talked about military, they talked about everything with real estate, what the state can do. I had a couple of commissioners come up to me after and speak to me about some really good ideas as well. So I just want to thank them for what they're doing. Continue the good work. If you are interested on what that looks like, I believe they're going to have the next discussion, the following Ready Commission. What is that date, by the way?
Yes, it's always the second Thursday of every month is when they meet, and the recorded video of last week's meeting is available on our YouTube channel.
Perfect. So thank you, Randy. And the only other thing if I didn't hone in on this enough, my biggest thing is I really want these kids to start being independent. It's like, how can we move away from government? And I know that sometimes some families can get stuck in a house, that hamster wheel. And very well, I could have been in that as well with my background, and I really, truly want to be able to give these kids a hand up because I know that we as a community can support each other through many things. So this is my way of helping back and coming around our youth. So thank you so much.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem, you're good? All right, so I do have a couple things. So tomorrow night, if you don't have a specific place you're going to go for Valentine's Day, the Sunset Market is available. So there's food, there's entertainment, there's a band out there that plays throughout the whole night. So if you've got no plans, you have them now. So Sunset Market tomorrow night between 5 and 9. And then secondly, I was also at the Black History Month, and every time I go to that proclamation, I learn something. So I highly recommend anybody who is around during these proclamations to show up, because you will learn something, because the Ready Commission really does a deep dive into what these proclamations are all about. So I highly recommend doing that. And also, Zach kind of started something, so I'm continuing it. Zach started Facts with Zach, and so me being a historian, I started Cruising with Stu. And so basically, I'm going to be doing videos that take you to certain places in town that you may not know exists. So go ahead and... Charisse from the Merc, come cruise with me.
Good morning, Mayor Stu.
Good morning. How is life at the Merc?
Life is busy at the Merc, and I love it.
This is a 1929 Model A Roadster. So we're heading to the Merc.
Yes.
So the Merc was built in 1891 by Philip Pullman.
Yes.
And Philip Pullman won the lot that the Merc was built on in a raffle, a lottery.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and so he built the first ever brick building in the city of Temecula, and the walls are 4 bricks thick.
Yes.
Which is kind of an overkill, but Phil Pullman, he got married in 1902 to a lady from Los Angeles. And she was a little hoity-toity, and she said she would not live in a wide spot in the road like Temecula.
Oh, okay.
So Phil Pullman sold the building in 1902 to George Berman, who operated it as a general mercantile store until 1952. And then it morphed into several other different types of businesses. It was an auto shop for a while.
Yes.
It was an antique store.
Yes.
And then we turned it into what you do,
yes,
these kind of experiences that we offer through the Merc is something that there just isn't a lot of opportunities like that.
Right. Welcome to the Merc.
Wow. So what do we do here?
There's an art gallery right here in the front. We have a artist reception every first Friday of the month where we have local artists from right here in Temecula that come in. The community is welcome to come for free. We also have right here our ticket office because in 2005, the city built a larger theater that seats about 360 in the back.
Wow.
But this works as the entryway, kind of like a lobby for the theater. And then back here, we have another space that seats about 50 people. We can seat about 70 in here if you take out the tables and chairs. We have live music all the time. Every Thursday, we have jazz.
Wow.
We have country. We have classical. We have speakeasy, we have stand-up comedy, we have Black History Month. There's a little show that we have called Rosetta and the Missionary Club. Very impactful. It's gonna be really good for the community. I hope that they come out and watch.
You know, the Merc has provided so much value to Old Town. And, you know, the fact that it's one of the original buildings here in Old Town. Thank you very much.
Of course, I appreciate your time.
Thank you for all the hard work that you do here.
Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate you.
All righty.
Thank you. Thank you for cruising with Stu. All right. So hopefully throughout this year, we'll take you on adventures all over the city of Temecula, and hopefully you'll learn something new about the city that you may not have known about. So, all right, so we'll move on now to the consent calendar. Number 1 is waive reading of title and text of all ordinances and resolutions included in this agenda. Number 2, approve action minutes of January 23rd, 2024 and February 6th, 24. Number 3, approve list of demands. Number 4, adopt resolution approving agreement pursuant to Government Code Section 66462.5 between the City of Temecula and SB Altair LLC Brookfield Temecula LLC regarding acquisition of property interests in connection with Vincent Moraga improvements. Number 5, approve landscape maintenance agreement with the State of California Department of Transportation for maintenance of I-15 SR 79 South interchange enhanced landscaping PW 1719. Number 6, approve grant of easement on portion of assessor's parcel 921-020-079 Field Operations Center to Southern California Edison for electric charging vehicle station project, PW 21-09. Number 7, approve plans and specifications and authorize solicitation of construction bids for the south side parking lot reconfiguration, PW 15-07. Number 8, establish an all-way stop control at the intersection of Camino Piedro Roja and Prawn Drive at Avenida Bicicleta. Okay. Number 9, receive and file temporary road closure for detour for Nicholas Road at Cali Garrisol. Number 10, receive and file temporary street closures for Temecula Sunset Market.
Move consent. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote. All right, that passes.
Councilmember Alexander?
Oh,
Is that EA?
that passes 4-0. I will convene to the community services.
Thank you very much, Mayor Stu. I will call to order the Temecula Community Services District meeting. Madam City Clerk, please note that we are all still here. Do we have any public comments on non-agenda items? Okay, and seeing no comments, we'll dispense with the reading of those rules. We'll move on to our consent calendar. We have one item, item 11, approve action minutes of January 23, 2024. I'll entertain a motion in a second.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let us vote. Okay, and that passes 4-0. Thank you. We have a Director of Community Services report this evening.
Yes, we do. Just 2 slides this evening. I'd like to just draw everyone's attention to 2 of our most recently renovated parks. So this past week, we were thrilled to cut a ribbon on Long Canyon Creek Park. That's near the mall on General Kearney, if you're not familiar with that area. We encourage everybody to go out and take a look at this beautiful new park. It features an extra tall climbing tower, which the kids absolutely loved. And special thanks to the Day Middle School ASB, which came out and helped us celebrate the ribbon cutting for this brand new park. And then next week, next slide please, we have another ribbon cutting coming up on the 21st. It's Temecula Creek Trail Park, and I think of this park as a real hidden gem. A lot of people don't know about this one, but it's really worth checking out. It's at, Mr. Hagel agrees, by the way, Chair Hagel agrees. It's at 33662 Channel Street. And that's going to be another brand new play structure, everything remodeled from the ground up. So anyone can feel free to join us at 2 p.m. on Thursday, February 21st. And that concludes my report.
Wonderful, thank you. Looking forward to that. And with respect to the Long Canyon Creek Park, it's very close to my one of our son's schools, and that park now, the last few days has been completely full with kids running around and playing, so it's really great. Appreciate all the hard work in TCSD. General Manager's report?
Nothing further, Mr. President.
Right. Thanks, sir. Board of Directors, anything?
If I can just add one thing to the Temecula Creek Park, because that's in my neighborhood, I just want to say thank you, because I know that that park was very well, it needed to be redone. Let's just put it that way. And so I can even say for my kids, they are excited for the ribbon breaking to happen. And so thank you guys for letting that happen, because I'm seeing this with a lot of our parks, and it's really giving our kids the ability to get out and have a little bit more fun. So thank you.
Yeah, and that climbing structure is going to be really cool. Very cool. Anything else from Board of Directors? All right, we'll go ahead and adjourn to our next regularly scheduled meeting. We're adjourned.
And I'll call to order, we have no successor agency for the redevelopment and the Temecula Housing Authority, so we'll go straight to the joint meeting of Temecula Financing Authority and the City Council. Madam Secretary, please know we're all still here. Are there any public comments? Okay, so we have a consent calendar. Item number 12 is approve joint action minutes of January 23rd, 2024. And number 13, adopt resolution of intention to form a CFD 23-01 Altair, authorize the levy of special taxes on property in CFD 23-01 Altair, incur bonded indebtedness for CFD 23-01 Altair, and approve related documents and agreements.
I'll move consent.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Please vote. All right, that passes 4-0. So now we're off to the public hearing. So can I have a staff report, Ms. Jennifer?
Certainly. So the item before you tonight is to consider the issuance of special tax bonds for the Heirloom Farms Community Facilities District, otherwise known as a CFD. And we have 2 of our members from our financing team here, Mr. Jim Fabian from Fieldman Rolap. He'll conduct the presentation. And then we also have Heidi Sheppy from Webb Municipal Finance in the audience as well if there's any technical questions. So I'll turn it over to Jim.
Thanks, Jennifer. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. Jim Fabian, Fieldman Rolap and Associates. Have a brief presentation that I'd like to walk through related to this item. The next slide, please. So a background on the Heirloom Farm CFD 20-01. It was formed in 2021. There's authorization up to $14 million of CFD bonds. In 2021, Meritage purchased the property and started development of the housing development at Heirloom's Farms, which consists of 210 attached units and 111 detached residential units. In 2023, they approached the city to issue bonds to finance facilities related to the infrastructure required for the development and also school fees associated with the development. And that's where we started the issuance of the bonds back in 2023. The next slide, please. So this structure, these bonds will be tax-exempt bonds. We think the size will be about $12,470,000. That is dependent upon market interest rates at the time the bonds are sold. We will have capitalized interest, which will pay the first interest payment on September 1, 2024 for the bonds. The bonds will be 30-year bonds, so the last payment will be made in 2054. Something a little bit different with this particular bond issue, we are funding what is called a delinquency management fund, and this is a specific dollar amount that will be put into the fund that will handle any potential issues associated with any delinquencies that we might have. Working with staff and the property owner, we uncovered that there were a certain amount of delinquencies in the payment of the December 11th, 2023 property tax installment payment due to a glitch with the property owner and their residents that have purchased homes. This fund will be used in case there's any ongoing delinquency. We think those issues will be resolved. The property owner, Meritage, has sent out letters to the individual homeowners that the installment payment is due and owed. So that's a little bit different than you typically see in your CFDs. We are setting up an improvement fund which will be used to reimburse Meritage for the cost incurred for infrastructure fees paid associated with city improvements, Temecula Valley School District or Eastern Municipal Water District. We do have on the agenda as part of the approval tonight an amendment with the city for the joint community facilities district with the agreement with the city. These 2024 special tax bonds will be paid solely by property that is located within the boundaries of the community facilities district. There is no liability to the city's general fund for the payment of the debt. Next slide, please. Tonight on your agenda, we have several documents that are required for the issuance of the bonds. The first one is the fiscal agent agreement. This really sets the terms for how the bonds will be paid over the 30-year term. It sets up the accounts associated with the bond issuance. We also have the purchase contract between the city, the authority, and the underwriter, Stiefel, who will purchase the bonds from the city, the authority, and then resell them to the public. We have the preliminary official statement, which outlines all information associated with the development and the bonds, so investors can make an informed decision whether or not to purchase the bonds on their own. We also have the continuing disclosure agreement, so we have to provide ongoing annual information to the marketplace to tell them how the development is going and provide status on the development. So the city, as the authority, has an obligation to do that on an annual basis, and they contract with Webb & Associates to do that for the city, and that's, I think, March 31st that report is due. Next slide, please. The timeline in front of us, assuming approval tonight of the resolutions, we would be in the marketplace right around February the 28th. Again, that'll be dependent upon advice from Stiefel, the bond underwriter for the city, and the timing of the market. We would close on March the 13th. That's when the funds would be available for a repayment of any cost incurred by Meritage associated with the development. Next slide, please. So tonight in front of you, we have the public hearing required by the government code. We have the resolution making findings and approving the issuance of the 2024 bonds by the authority, and we also have the amendment of the existing city joint community facilities agreement. The TPFA board will adopt the resolution authorizing the issuance of the 2024 bonds and approving all the documents that I mentioned on the prior slide. And then last slide, happy to answer any questions that you might have regarding the issuance of the bonds.
Just for the public's awareness, this is not city debt. We're not taking on any debt for the city, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
The payment of this bond issue will be based upon the special taxes levied against property within the boundary of the CFD. No liability to or debt for the city of Temecula.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and open the public hearing. Madam City Clerk, are there any public comments? Let's close the public hearing. I will ask for a motion to approve or disapprove.
Move to approval.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Please vote. All right, that passes 4-0. So we're off to TPFA Executive Director Report.
Nothing further tonight.
All right, anything from the board? No. All right, so I'll adjourn. And since we were adjourned, so I'll reconvene the City of Temecula Council meeting. Departmental reports. It's a receive and file, item number 15. Items for future agenda. Anybody have anything?
I do have one item, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
I would be asking the council tonight for the creation of a ad hoc subcommittee. There's been various emails from staff and city council and residents in Temecula talking about private roads and public not accepted roads for maintenance by the city. This ad hoc subcommittee would essentially dive in further to the streets that we maintain and don't maintain and try to appease the concerns the citizens have and hopefully find some resolutions and solutions to issues brought up by community members.
Okay, so why don't we get a quick little, since it's the first of the year, let's, the rule for placement, Madam City Clerk.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Actually, I believe Councilmember Kalfas just within 3 minutes described his item. So as a reminder, there is no substantive discussion on the subject. The requester can go ahead and provide a brief description, not to exceed 3 minutes. Any council members may ask clarifying questions only. And then it is a simple yes or no vote, up or down, and then depending upon the results, we will go ahead and put it on the agenda for the following meeting under the business portion of the agenda.
So since he's asking for a subcommittee, is that something that has to go on the agenda?
It does, sir. There actually has to be a formal vote.
Okay.
And then at that time, you can also discuss the scope of the subcommittee and all of that kind of good stuff.
Okay. All right. So we can go to a vote then.
You can go to a vote, sir.
Okay. Am I able to make just a brief comment before we vote, or there was no really?
There's clarifying questions only.
Yeah. Okay, I don't have a clarifying question.
Yeah,
I have a
clarifying
really good
questions
comment,
only,
but-
no substantive discussion.
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
All right. So how do we do?
So
thumb
if,
up, thumb down?
yeah, so we would, Mr. Kalfas, if you would like to go ahead and make the motion, if there's a second, then we would simply vote.
Okay.
I would like to place this item on the agenda for future city council items.
All right, I second it.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
Mr. Mayor, it passes 3-1.
Okay. All
Thank you.
right. So do we have a city manager's report?
Nothing tonight.
City attorney?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and members of the council, tonight in closed session, the city council, by a vote of 4-0, authorize the city attorney's office to file litigation to enforce the housing affordability covenants at the properties located at 42191 6th Street and 28434 Pujol Street.
All right, thank you. And with that being said, we are adjourned.